My name is Zoe Hayes, and I'm 31 years old. Competence doesn't announce itself. It hums. The dishwasher slipping into off-peak at 12:01, the budget cells sealing themselves in soft green, the quiet steadiness that keeps the apartment from tipping sideways. I like ballast. Nobody praises ballast until the boat lists. Thursday night should have been perfect. The lamp carved a soft triangle of light across the rug Ethan picked, which really meant I bought it and he approved. The apartment smelled faintly of bergamot and roasted garlic. I was closing out a monthly reconciliation when Ethan's voice drifted from the living room. He was on speakerphone. "Mom, I just don't want her to ever know," Ethan said, low but clear. "She'll think we're still trying. She's been so excited about it. I couldn't take that look from her." My fingers froze above the keyboard. Natalie Walker's voice, the practiced sympathy of someone who thinks she knows better, filled the room. "Sweetheart, you did what's best. You can't let a baby derail your plans." I didn't hear anything about babies. Nothing in my life had prepared me for how quickly a sense of calm could collapse into icy clarity. Ethan was getting the promotion he'd been grinding for over 2 years. Senior account director, 20% raise, corner office, the whole thing. His company rented out a restaurant's private room to celebrate. About 40 people, co-workers, a couple of college friends, family, and Natalie. I should have been proud. Instead, I felt the subtle tremor of betrayal before I even noticed it. Around 9, I was talking to Rick, one of Ethan's college friends, when my eyes flicked toward the bar. Natalie was standing close to Jake, one of Ethan's younger co-workers. He was 25, a junior designer, nothing extraordinary, just someone she seemed to find amusing. They laughed together, standing too close. Whatever. People are allowed to talk. My phone buzzed at 9:45 p.m., a text from Natalie. "This party is so boring. Everyone's just talking about work stuff. Don't understand. Jake offered to show me a new cocktail bar downtown. Leaving now. Don't wait up." I stared at it for 30 seconds. "Your boyfriend's promotion party. The biggest career achievement of his life so far, and you're calling it boring, and leaving with another woman." I looked up. She was already walking toward the exit, Jake holding the door for her. She glanced back, caught my gaze, gave a little wave, smiling as though she had done nothing wrong. I typed, "Drive safe." Didn't argue, didn't call, just watched them leave. Rick noticed. "That was Natalie leaving?" "Yep." "With Jake?" "Yep." "Broke?" "Yeah." I stayed at the party 2 more hours, smiled, congratulated people, accepted compliments. Inside, though, my chest felt ice cold. By midnight, I was home. Natalie's things were scattered everywhere as usual. Her yoga mat in the corner, skincare products sprawling across the bathroom counter, clothes mixed with mine in the closet. Not anymore. I called a 24-hour locksmith. At 1:00 a.m., he arrived. Deadbolt and handle lock changed. $280. Worth every penny. Then I started packing. Her clothes, shoes, random decorative pillows, her 50-something scented candles, all of it went into boxes. Took until 4:00 a.m., but it was done. I sat on my couch, surrounded by the boxed fragments of her life, and pulled up Jake's apartment address. Corporate directory, 20 minutes away. Downloaded a delivery app, scheduled pickup, paid for truck and movers. Added a note. Natalie's belongings. She left with the owner of this address last night. Have a great life together. Cost $340. I went to bed at 5 a.m., slept surprisingly well. Saturday morning, movers arrived promptly. Professional, polite, didn't ask questions. 3 trips to the truck later, my apartment looked like she had never lived there. Lightness filled the air. I opened the windows, made coffee, and just breathed. My phone rang. 6 texts, 6 calls. I ignored them all. By mid-afternoon, the front desk called. "Mr. Hayes, sorry, Zoe. A woman's here, trying to get into your apartment. Her key isn't working. Name's Natalie." "Yes, sir. She's not my guest anymore. Please don't let her up." 30 seconds later, my phone exploded with messages. "What the hell? Why isn't my tea working? This is my home." "No, it's my home. Your name was never on the lease." I didn't respond. I had clarity. The locks had changed. She had chosen to leave. A half-hour later, the police arrived. 2 officers, 1 older man, 1 younger woman. Calmly, I explained. Ex-girlfriend left the party with another person, changed locks, removed belongings. Lease in my name, utility bills in my name. I showed them everything. The older officer smiled faintly. Technically, she could claim residency, civil court territory if pursued, but you acted within reason. She left voluntarily. The younger officer asked, "Did you give notice?" She abandoned the residence, texted me to leave. I took it as permanent. They left after I signed a statement. I was calm, collected, unshaken. Then Jake called. "What the hell, Zoe? You sent all her stuff to my place?" "Where else?" I said. "She left with you." He groaned, defeated. "Cool story. You guys have fun playing house now." "I have a girlfriend. She's pissed. Your problem, not mine." Part 1 ends with the boxes gone, the apartment quiet, the betrayal clear. But the storm is just beginning. Saturday morning unfolded like a careful symphony of control. The movers had departed, the last of Natalie's boxes loaded onto the truck, leaving my apartment feeling suddenly spacious, calm, and eerily empty. The rug she'd helped pick, the yoga mat she insisted on placing in a corner, the scented candles that lit up every shelf like a shrine to her taste, gone. My apartment breathed. I breathed. Yet peace was short-lived. My phone buzzed relentlessly. 6 missed calls, a dozen texts from unknown numbers, and then the familiar ping of Natalie herself. I ignored them all. Clarity has a voice, but sometimes it's drowned out by chaos. By mid-afternoon, the front desk rang again. "Ms. Hayes, it's Dennis. That woman is here again. She insists she has belongings inside." "Yes, sir. Her belongings were delivered this morning. She no longer resides here. Please don't let her in." Dennis hesitated. "She's getting upset. I understand. Hold the line if needed, but do not let her in." As I hung up, I could feel the tension in my chest. Not fear, but a precise, cold awareness. Every item she owned had been meticulously removed. Every consequence of her choice was now literal and metaphorical. By 1 p.m., my apartment felt like a sanctuary again. I brewed tea, poured it into my favorite mug, and perched on the sofa, the sun slicing across the empty living room in triangles of light. And yet, the phone buzzed again. Jake. "What the hell, Zoe? You actually sent all her stuff here?" I smiled faintly. "You said you two were just having drinks. Where else would it go?" His exasperation was palpable. "She started crying on my doorstep this morning. She said you threw her out with nowhere to go." "Not my problem," I said simply. "You made your choices too. Live with them." Jake didn't reply. He couldn't. He knew the truth. He'd been caught in the crossfire, a pawn in a game he didn't understand until too late. By mid-afternoon, the tension escalated further. The younger officer's words from the night before echoed in my mind. Technically, she could claim residency, civil court territory, if pursued. Legal ambiguity hovered like a storm cloud, but I had anticipated every move. I had documentation, timestamps, texts, evidence stacked like walls around my choices. Sunday morning brought new challenges. Voicemail. Natalie's mother, Diane, who had been perfectly cordial in the past, was now enraged. "How dare you throw my daughter out like trash," the message began. "Send her an apology. Let her come home immediately, or I'm calling a lawyer. You humiliated her. She's been crying all day." I let it sit, breathed, made coffee. Every instinct screamed at me to respond, but clarity is patient. Control is patient. I didn't respond. Instead, I downloaded the security footage from my building. The evidence spoke louder than any argument. Friday night, 9:54 p.m., Natalie and Jake walking toward his car. She laughed. He opened the door. She got in. They drove off. By Monday, work awaited. First day in my new office. My promotion desk sat pristine, cornered in sunlight, a trophy of focus and effort. Yet the drama wasn't done. HR summoned me. Rebecca from HR sat across, discomfort plain. "Natalie, your ex-girlfriend has filed a formal complaint," she began, choosing words carefully. "Claims harassment. Says you created a hostile situation involving Jake." I blinked. "Harassment?" "She alleges you sent threatening messages, even intimate materials, to Jake's residence to intimidate him." I laughed quietly, the sound low and controlled. Her intimate belongings, yoga mat, clothes, shoes, decorative pillows, candles, 50 of them. Everything was packed and delivered after she left my promotion party with Jake. I have timestamps, texts, and building footage. I can show you. Rebecca's eyebrows rose. I pulled up my phone, showing the security footage. Natalie laughing, stepping into Jake's car, leaving my building. Twice. Clear, concrete. Rebecca nodded slowly. And Jake knows you're showing me this? He called in sick today. His actual girlfriend was not thrilled his apartment became a repository for her belongings. She absorbed the scene, quiet for a moment. Then, okay, I recommend we drop the complaint. This is personal drama outside work hours. You didn't create the situation. I nodded. Understood. I will avoid contact with both of them moving forward. By Tuesday, further complications emerged. Lauren, Natalie's best friend, showed up at my building. Dennis called. Ms. Hayes, her friend wants to collect some items, medications. I went through the apartment again. Behind my toiletries, I found the prescription bottles, birth control and anxiety medication, all under my insurance. She had been using my coverage as a domestic partner equivalent. I called HR, confirmed removal. Done. I handed Lauren the prescriptions. Effective today. She's off my insurance. Stop contacting me. Move on. Lauren's fury was sharp. You're such a bastard. She loved him. Love is a choice, I interrupted. She left a party, went with another woman, and left everything behind. That's not love. The point landed. Lauren left, fuming. By Wednesday, the lawyer's letter arrived. $15,000 for alleged emotional distress, moving expenses, and replacement of items. Threats of frivolous litigation. I called my lawyer, explained everything, sent evidence. 2 hours later, he called back, laughing. Zero case. She abandoned property, no lease, voluntary departure. You're untouchable here. Let her lawyer kick rocks. By Thursday, I returned to the apartment. Quiet. My space reclaimed. Locks changed. Order restored. Clarity settled like a soft fog across every surface. Ending hook for part 2. I had survived the chaos. The boxes gone. Legal threats neutralized. Emotional attacks deflected. Yet the tension wasn't fully over. Natalie's presence still lingered in gossip, in HR murmurs, in the shadow of the betrayal. But one truth remained. I was in control. Every move, every choice, every consequence mapped and executed. Monday morning sunlight spilled across my corner office, but it didn't warm me. The weekend's chaos still clung to me like a second skin. My promotion desk gleamed with the promise of responsibility, yet outside these walls, the drama from Natalie's departure lingered. HR had called, and now Rebecca awaited with the official complaint file. Natalie claims harassment, she began, eyes careful. Says you created a hostile environment involving Jake. I leaned back in my chair, letting calm wash over me. Harassment? I packed her belongings after she left my promotion party with another person. Every action is documented. I handed Rebecca my phone. Security footage, text timestamps, movers, receipts, all lined up like a meticulous blueprint of truth. She watched Natalie laughing, stepping into Jake's car, leaving the building. Twice. Clear. Undeniable. She claims you sent intimate materials, Rebecca continued. Yes. Intimate belongings. Clothes, yoga mat, 50-some scented candles, pillows. All her stuff, all delivered to Jake's apartment because that's where she left. My voice was steady, icy even. Rebecca blinked. And Jake's aware you're showing me this? He called in sick. His actual girlfriend wasn't thrilled to find her ex's belongings on their doorstep. Nothing more happened. I made no threats. Silence fell. Then a small exhale from her. This is personal drama. Outside work hours. I recommend we drop the complaint. No hostile work environment exists here. I nodded. I will, of course, avoid all contact with both parties moving forward. 30 minutes later, Jake appeared in my doorway. His face was pale, unshaven, guilt written across every line. Zoe, can we talk? I crossed my arms. Not really interested. Go ahead. He ran a hand through his hair. I messed up. Natalie told me you two were basically over, just going through motions. She asked me for a ride home. Nothing else, I swear. And yet she cried on my doorstep Saturday morning, claiming you left her with nowhere to go. That's not how it went. You played a part, but she made choices. Live with them. His shoulders slumped. I see that now. She played both of us. I get it. Good. Now leave, I said, voice firm. He left, defeated, the door closing softly behind him. By Tuesday, more complications arrived. Lauren, Natalie's best friend, came knocking. Dennis called. "Ms. Hayes, someone here wants to collect medication." I retrieved her birth control and anxiety prescriptions, tucked behind my toiletries. Both were under my insurance coverage. I called HR, removed her as a domestic partner, effective immediately. I handed Lauren the medications. "She's off my insurance. Stop contacting me. Move on." Lauren's fury was palpable. "You're cruel. She loved him." "Love is a choice," I said firmly. "She left a party, chose someone else, left everything behind. That's not love." Lauren left, fuming, and the air in my apartment finally felt lighter. By Wednesday, the lawyer's letter arrived, threatening $15,000 for emotional distress, moving costs, and replacement of alleged damaged items. I called my lawyer, explained the timeline, sent the text and footage evidence. 2 hours later, he called back, laughing. "She has zero case, abandoned property, no lease, voluntary departure. She's grasping at air. Let her lawyer kick rocks." I hung up, sipping coffee, watching the sunlight carve golden lines across the floor. For the first time since Friday night, I felt in control. Every move calculated, every consequence accounted for. Later that morning, whispers reached my desk. Gossip, small but potent. Colleagues curious, some taking sides. I let it slide. HR had cleared me. The legal threat dissolved. Outside opinion was noise, and I had the luxury to ignore it. Ethan checked in briefly. Concern, a touch of guilt and relief threaded through his voice. "Everything okay?" I allowed a small smile. Better than okay. Calm, controlled, done. By Thursday, everything at work had settled. Jake had been transferred to another department. Distance as much a solution as policy. My responsibilities remained intact, my promotion intact, my reputation intact. Ending hook for part 3. The storm outside my apartment had been weathered. The personal, social, and workplace consequences of Natalie's choices were contained, but clarity didn't end with confrontation. It required reflection. I realized the value of boundaries, the power in measured control, and the importance of respect. Natalie's departure had been chaotic, but it had also been liberating. The apartment was quiet. The space she had cluttered was now mine, untouched by manipulation or petty chaos. And in that quiet, I understood. The locks had changed, not just on the doors, but in my life. 3 weeks had passed since Natalie left, and life settled into an almost eerie new normal. My apartment, once crowded with her belongings, now felt like a sanctuary. The rug I bought, the bergamot scent lingering in the air, the sunlight cutting soft triangles across the floor, everything had returned to my rhythm. The boxes, the yoga mat, the 50-some candles, the decorative pillows, they were gone. Clean, quiet, controlled. The lawyer had confirmed Natalie's threats were empty. The frivolous $15,000 claim dissolved into nothing. HR had closed her complaint. Jake was transferred to another department, and the gossip had subsided. Every loose end had been meticulously tied. And yet, the emotional residue lingered. It wasn't just about her leaving. It was about what I learned from it. Clarity, boundaries, the cost of respect, and the consequence of betrayal. By the end of that week, I allowed myself a small indulgence, rearranging the apartment. I discarded the last remnants of Natalie's influence, the decorative pillows, the scented candles, her abstract art pieces that I never liked. I bought a TV I actually wanted, hung art that spoke to me, not to someone else. The apartment had become mine in every sense, literal and metaphorical. Life outside the apartment mirrored this newfound calm. I had started seeing someone new, a slow, careful relationship built on genuine connection. Her name was Kelsey, a veterinary assistant I met at a friend's barbecue. She was easy to talk to, interested in my work, enthusiastic about my promotion. No drama, no manipulation, mutual respect. Conversations flowed naturally, laughter came easily. It was refreshing, almost startling after the chaos of the past weeks. Financial clarity followed. The $600 monthly she had contributed to the apartment, not missed. It turned out I had been subsidizing more than I realized. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Amazon Prime, gym membership, insurance coverage. Calculated, it came to roughly $3,400 a year in extras she assumed she could access. All of it now secured, accounts locked, passwords changed. My life, my boundaries, my control. I ran into Dennis, the front desk manager, last week. He grinned. That woman ever come back? Nope, I said. Good. She spent 20 minutes screaming in the lobby that day. Not professional. You did right. And I had. Every action I took had been deliberate, every boundary clear. Choices had consequences. Hers were laid out in boxes and moved 20 minutes away. Mine were intact, steady, and entirely under my control. I reflected often on the promotion party, the moment that shifted everything. Her decision to call it boring, to leave with Jake, to abandon the life she had helped build in my apartment, it had been a betrayal, yes, but it had also been a revelation. I realized that respect and recognition aren't just gestures, they're earned. They're given to those who understand the value of others' time, effort, and achievements. And now, finally, there was peace. My apartment smelled like bergamot again. The windows wide open, the sun warming the corners of the rooms. Ethan and I shared quiet dinners, laughter that wasn't tinged with tension, accomplishments acknowledged without jealousy. Jake's name no longer surfaced. Natalie faded into the past, her drama neutralized, her presence reduced to a lesson in control and clarity. I looked around the living room, sunlight spilling across my reclaimed space, and I smiled. The locks had changed, literally, on the doors. Metaphorically, in my life. Choices have consequences. Betrayal has clarity. And for the first time in weeks, I felt fully, irreversibly in control. I had lost little in the grand scheme. Some time, some money on locks and movers, a few misguided friendships. What I gained was immeasurable. Respect, clarity, empowerment, and peace. Natalie wanted to have both. The comfort of living in my world and the thrill of chasing someone else. She left everything behind. I chose to honor my own boundaries, protect my life, and move forward without regret. Some doors close abruptly. Some doors change locks. And in doing so, they protect everything worth keeping.